1, 2. That way. Oop. There we go. Well, sorry about that, chat. um, wow, no notification. It just so happened that I joined. Talk about lucky. Hold on. Just making sure things are set. Yes, camera 1, camera 2. My pans aren't calibrated yet. Hello? We'll get there in time. For now, we have Blue, who's early, we have Clueless, Rip Pip, Vesper Darling, Axel, Canadian Alex. No Linkin Park this time. Floofy, Something, and Reem. Hi there. Oh, you know me. We'll take it up later. Somewhere midway to the stream. Let's make sure all the camera angles are working first. Oh, what? Strange timing here. I just woke up from a nap. What kind of sorcery is this? Says Bronzer. You know, it's called me being on time while being late. Sorcery. You aren't live on TikTok? No, not today. I wanted to see if I could have a stream with no hiccups. That's okay. At least I get to focus on Twitch. Besides, I've always been compromising on the angles on the shots that I had to do whenever I had to entertain TikTok as well. This way, at least, you get to see things in its entirety. You seem to be a bit darker. There we go. It's okay, we're better than TikTok anyway. Sure, Bev. Oh, my goodness, what time is it? 1:27 a.m. I am 3 hours late from my usual streaming time. I'm pretty beat. I'm actually not. I told myself I'm not going to stream today, but it's so hard to say no when you have a bunch of friends waiting for you. It's okay. The renovations didn't take everything out of me. You can manipulate it somehow. Glad I could catch you today, says Canadian Alex. You're streaming when I'm usually working. I got a day off. Life is good. Hello, Onyx. Yes. Long time no see. Hello, Leah. I feel like I need to fix my VR. We're gonna have a little, perchance, a hangout after stream. I mean, why not? While I still have time. Oh, Wi-Fi people are here. Good. How's your apartment renovations going? Is it finished or going? I am... Oh my goodness, it's the 5th already. I have a week and a couple of days to complete it. So far, we're partially done with the flooring. And just starting with the walling. I posted a photo over at the media channel if you are curious on checking it out. I dare say it's been transformative. Who would have known boarding up a crummy set of windows would make such a big difference? No, I need VR. That's the thing, Litz. I need to be in VR. I need my social fix. I don't go out and. Yeah. Okay, if you can't go, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Oh, having unreliable hardware. Yeah, boss, I wish you all the luck in completing it ASAP. Yes. Thank you, Blue. I hope I get to finish it soon, too. It would be terrible if I had to pay another extra because I'm late. Who needs social interactions? Alright. Time to not have Litz as a friend and revoke the Your Cool card. Okay, anywho, where is my coin? Ba-ba-ba. Oh, wow. Stay around, Blue. Have fun in the beach. Of course, of course. Don't worry about it. I will probably be needing the stream break once I'm moving stuff to and fro between my old unit and the new one. And I have to set up the base stations, I have to set up my computer, my internet, route the LAN cable somehow from the room A to play space area, and a whole bunch of stuff. Hello, Reen. It's strange. I'm only looking at like one chat window instead of two. I enjoy socialization with very select company. Not just anybody. My goodness. No TikTok chat today. So I can keep up with the messages. Also because my encoder is being overloaded whenever I have that thing running too. TikTok Studio is an enormous resource hog. Unlike, say, OBS. I don't know what sort of funny shenanigans they have running with that application, but most definitely, it's not FPS friendly. Like my headset's a bit loose. Tighten. The camera angle is close today. Yes, because I don't have to fit myself between the bars. Normally it's this far. Now I can go all the way here and it works just fine. Doesn't it? Well, thank you for the unsolicited advice, Ariel Silver, who clearly is not a bot. Is that a wild camp? Why, if it isn't Minnie, hello. We have our resident Spanish. What's a TOS friendly term for that who delves into Blender? We have Minnie. There we go. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the stream. You somewhat inspire me to perhaps stream to Twitch and TikTok again. Well, nobody's stopping you, you know. And it would be such a shame to have these lovely avies that you customize, right? fit it to your mold, your persona, your you, and the world isn't there to see it. The skillful blenderist. Yes. Oh, if here I am, absolutely enthralled with the work that you do, Minnie. I'm sure there are many, many more out there who have yet to discover the beauty of your craft in motion, especially with face tracking. Yes, Fuego, if you have been looking at the media channel, you would be able to keep track of it. A mesh blender. Mayhaps, perchance, and then Minnie's gonna start researching. Can my computer run TikTok and OBS at the same time? Gonna do little test streams and then they might as well go for it, Minnie. Minnie says, I'm unsure if you happen to host another small meetup later. You, Litz, Vesper are on top of the list of those invited. That's for sure. Though Litz is a little bit of a, how should we say this? Lazy bum when it comes to fixing her VR hardware, so we cannot guarantee her presence. Oh well. You would rather watch depressing anime instead. Oh, little malnourished girls getting bullied at school and having fun with a rather long and taut ribbon and a wooden beam. Come on, let's don't be a lazy bum. See, it's Beth himself saying it. You gotta get your VR working. Come on, let's go hang out later, right? I bet it's gonna be fun. Ah, I see, Fuego. I would rather not post pictures of my apartment on public social media, so I have most of my pictures over at the Discord instead. Hello, Metalcon. Minnie says it's more so the internet when it comes to streaming. I live in the middle of nowhere and use Starlink. Oh, I'm sure you can handle it. Just set the... If your upload and download speed is around, what, 80, 100 Mbps, you're set. Promise. But Bo, oh. I don't have any contacts in my area. Okay. Pardon me if I sound a little bit slow. I'm groggy. I can't believe I was there doing renovations 8:30 a.m. until like 5:30 p.m. Oh, we think it's gonna be so simple. Ah, yes. Go unglue the back of the acoustic panels and just stick it to the wall. When you realize the architect of my building did not apparently use a level, so the columns above is like slightly skewed. So when you put the perfectly square panels, you're gonna notice why is the gap starting to become bigger. And yes, we had to bust out the scissors, the cutters, and then shape things properly. And then because of that, I have to buy extra materials, hence the slight increase in budget. I'm sorry again. I had to buy another set of 36 packs of the wooden panels. And I did not know the wooden... No, not the wooden, sorry. You saw in my photo the black mats I use for flooring, right? I need to order another full set. I mean, I already placed the order, but it's extra expenditure. I made a miscalculation in the amount of floor area that needed to be covered. It was nowhere near enough. But The apartment at least is looking nice and dandy, isn't it? Far cry from the 1960s solitary confinement prisons you'd find in some tropical jungle in South America, right? The blanket monsters were extra hard to fight off this. Oh, Beth, trust me. I was like, come on, wake up. Okay, I'm just gonna close my eyes an extra 30 seconds. Nope. I drifted off for 15 minutes. No nap. Oh, I got my nap. Don't worry. So yes, that is how my day and night went. Not level, just chaos. Oh, if I should have taken a picture. I'll see how it is tomorrow. I'm gonna be inspecting and doing small renovations day by day until I can get it done because I have only less than 2 weeks that I need to move in. Canadian Alex says, I know the pain of renovating on buildings that aren't square. I just had to completely rebuild my roof on my garage. And the whole building was painfully not square. It was driving me nuts. It was driving us nuts to me and the guy helping me. I was like, there's something wrong with the alignment. And it's not us. Things happen. Everyone awaits updates on the corner. So far, it has been relegated to containing a few boxes. Seems to be perfectly fit for my little bathroom plastic. You know the little plastics that are like raised a teeny tiny bit so water can flow underneath and you just step on top, and it's the thing you see in like the car wash and car detailing shops. Yeah, that kind of flooring. It's the building's fault. 100% the building's fault. I had to do the waterproofing fixes, which is normally what the landlord should be doing. The building is wonky. It has character. Oh, yes. Just like a bunch of Tetris blocks thrown together to somehow resemble a functional form. Lots of gaps, unnecessary columns, uneven this and that. Beautiful. Shoot. What even is with that place? Hello, Morpheus. Morpheus. Name of one of my favorite characters. Do you believe in fate? And then he offers like the red pill and then the blue pill. Is your new apartment a house or building? It's a building. I am renting a room over at the 5th floor. Hello, Rengar. You know, there's also something I realized. I can't stop streaming more than a week. I'm probably gonna fall off the algorithm. It's gonna be like a soft reset to my account. It's like, oh no, what do I do? You know how the internet span of people on the internet are nowadays. You don't show up for a few days and you're pretty much ancient history. Gone, forgotten, archived, nothing but a memory. Vesper says, character or not, it can cause problems if it's poorly constructed. Like where I currently live, my parents bought a 70s home that has been flipped so it had character. Thousands of dollars later, and there's still issues that they're working on. Sounds lovely.
Let's start moving that bar.
The decimal place is still there. Thank you so much, Bear. I appreciate that. If anything, I was able to run one of the ACs on the apartment. And boy, oh boy, having that refreshing breeze on your face surely is a wonderful feeling. Wait, are you fixing the apartment or are you moving into, or the apartment you're currently living in? The one I'm moving into. You see, I currently live on the third floor. Now I'm trying to go up to the fifth. It also pesters Axel. Yes, what better reason than to go poke the sides of your bunnies? Hi there, Mox. Do you have a good view at least? Let's just say it's an improvement. The old apartment I had is, well, let's just say I have no windows. Yes. I actually have a small balcony view. The balcony, funny enough, is just as wide as my shoulders, and
Been seeing your reels lately.
better than
Hope this
nothing.
helps.
Been seeing your reels lately. He nudged the bar. Why, thank you so much, Ninja Poet Wolf. My goodness. So many good Samaritans over at my stream. It's quite a surprise. Seeing my reels, that doesn't mean you come from Instagram. Thank you, by the way. A wonderful balcony view, but like any rational human being, looking down is scary. I may drill extra like posts there because who knows? Like little like guardrails. Shouldn't be too hard to do. Are you able to see the lasagna place from the balcony? Now that I think about it, if I like peek enough, like down, and then swivel to the right, I can see it. It's not directly across my apartment though, but it's somewhere close. Man, my PC just crashed and I lost all my work on my avatar. You know, that is why I make weekly backups of my projects. No, really. It sucks when you have a Unity project that you can't use anymore. It's either it's corrupted with a funny memory leak and whatnot. I recently discovered about dragging your avatar from the hierarchy into your projects folder and then making a prefab that I can just drag into a new Unity project and get all its dependencies working as well. I'll be lurking in stream working on the Hydra. I wonder what new things Mini has for the Fem Hydra. I absolutely have my eyes glued on that thing. Respectfully. Oh, to see one of my kind. Absolutely refreshing. Absolutely inspiring. And hopefully we get to see Minnie fixing her clothes. It would be a shame to see the outfit not working. Hello, R. Art says, hi, I'm late, but glad I'm able to make it for at least a little bit. Oh, well, I'm glad you're here too. If there's one thing I am excited for about the new apartment as well, it's the better sound treatment. I'm sure the subtle things that I emit, is that the proper term? Emit, sound, emit, will be more clearly heard on that new apartment. Right now, everything's being heavily droned out because of NVIDIA broadcast noise cancellation. The place already looks so much better, right? Looks starting to look livable. I'm figuring that out as we speak. All right, go ahead. Fix your clothes. Where do most of your viewers come from? I personally come from I think Instagram. Okay. My my Twitter. I don't really have much traction there because people there are either for art or for clout, and I do neither. So yeah, I'm just on Instagram predominantly. I still mirror everything on TikTok though and on Twitter, but Instagram's the one that has the most engagement, the most reach, and I'm thankful for that. It's always the first app I open up whenever I go check my phone for things. Like, another 10 message requests. Hi there, can I sniff your disc? Can I lick your... Oh, I think you're so handsome. Can you be mine? Can you adopt me? Can you please be my daddy? Like, can't you be normal and just greet me a normal day? But then there are a few people that are wholesome and say, Gab, I just wanted to tell you that your streams have helped me relax and fall asleep. And just keep on doing what you're doing. I absolutely love your grounded content. And there are not many streamers doing what you do. And like, I see these messages and they absolutely warm my heart. They really do. Emerald Hazard. Thank you for the subscription. Yes, that's true, Wes. I remember somebody asking about you as well. Thank you. The mock set. I tried the rice recipe you gave me, by the way. It was very tasty. Brought the leftovers to work, and my coworkers were saying how good it's. Are you talking about the Hainanese? Did you get the grated ginger in it? That's very important. Because if it was, then fantastic. I'm glad. Oh, I wish you could give me some. If only you were within reach. Oh, hi there, Nordex. On Twitch, not Insta. I grated the ginger myself, says Moss. I am absolutely proud of you. Grating ginger isn't as a straightforward ordeal as you would imagine. You would think you simply have to go peel the skin and everything, take it out, and then you have to just grab it and then run it over the grater. Little did I know that ginger will actually start to sting your skin, regardless if you have wounds or not. It's as if it permeates the surface. I'm thinking, oh, why is it starting to burn? I see a Darumadal. Yes. What manga was that again? It was about a classroom, and it starts with a Darumadal. And people perish, and you had to play games to survive. I grow horseradish, says Mox, so I'm used to it. Good on you. Yes, Vesper is ever so busy. Blacksour says, I came for the avatar and chill conversations, but damn, dude, you're scarily down to earth? How is being down to earth scary? I mean, I'm just here talking with you. I don't chase drama. I don't talk about the latest trends all the time. I just sit, talk, chat, and exist alongside you. Hard says, I'm totally comfortable with knife work, but graters always freak me out. It's like one over grate. And then instead of cheese, it's your knuckles that's on top of your spaghetti. Can you imagine? Mark said, I found you through my friend Rin. He linked me the stream. He told me you might be someone I'd find interest in. Well, here I am. Was a pleasure to meet you in the surprise meetup. Of course, Mox. No problem. Same here. Also, pardon me if I like poking jokes at people, all right? Just for the sake of making people laugh. So. Pardon me. It was if I was having a bit more of a laugh than usual. Terrifyingly chill. Yeah, sure. Geb likes to tease people. No foul intent, just trying to be friendly. Precisely what Vesper said. I tease. But that's all I do. Oh my goodness. If I were lying down right now, if I had the couch, I would probably slowly do that and close my eyes, try and keep talking, and promptly not respond anymore. Okay, Monk. That's good to know. You're not real life friends till you can tease each other. Isn't that right, Axel? That's true. We'll never forget about the tail butt incident Axel had. A slow ascent. Shouldn't it be a descent, like you're slinking into the blankets? Why is it coming back? Because it's been permanently engraved into our heads, Axel. We will never forget how your rather strange positioning of your tail was. My goodness, held with nothing but a clench. Raxor says, when I met Scarely, I mean like it's not really common for me personally to find people like you who don't put a whole persona to impress others. Ah, that's true. I like to goof around and joke. But I don't become the circus animal, the clown in front of chat. That's true. I don't know. I'm not sure. You tell me. You tell me why. Hey Geb, I finally figured out how to add accessories to my Avi. Looks a lot more polished too. Finally got to. I am absolutely happy whenever people figure things out in Unity or Blender. Because I know the ecstatic feeling I get whenever something just works. I told you VR chat is pretty much a very big game of show and tell. Well, to most of us at least. It grew 3 times in file size. So how did that happen? I opened my Dragon project in Blender, looked at unfinished tale for 5 minutes and closed it. Understandable. You know what's weird? I actually look forward to doing Blender and Unity things nowadays. I will complain about it a little bit, but then when I see the opportunity to do something new or improve on something, it's like, yes. I don't know. I guess it's the same feeling one would get when you go gardening and like, oh shucks, I have to go prune the plants and trim the hedges a little bit. It's a chore, sure, but you get fulfillment out of it. And it looks nice after. I see chat being a lot calmer today though. It's because there's not as many people at the start. That and I don't have TikTok open. It's just purely Twitch today. Not feeling, managing the goblin energy that TikTok has. Need to fertilize and water the avies. Let me read it again. Need to fertilize and water the avies. I mean, it's a pleasurable experience, as I've said. Nothing wrong with that now that I think about it. Calmer. We're never calm, says Beth. The hellspawns are over there. It's difficult for me. Floofy says, I would love to work on my avatar, but after so many hours of VR chat, I still can't upload the Avi, so I don't feel like working on it. Remember, user ranks only really increase if you interact with people, get friends, and if you're in public worlds. If you just loiter around the private world, I do believe you're not gonna get an increase whatsoever. That's true. Beth tends to like randomly shake his coin. You know what Beth does? It's like he's driving whenever watching my stream, driving. And you know when you have to keep your eyes on the road, like look, and then grab some coins on your like gear shift pocket or whatever. So you can pay whatever is on the window. Yeah, that's how Beth tips. VRCC is basically the most important thing you need. Yeah, it's very easy to do. I am thirsty as heck. Yes, chat, I am drinking pure filtered water this time. Beth canonically eats chocolate only if it looks like coins. Oh, you need the funny golden coins that you peel open. And then I keep the wrappers and try to flatten them. Mm-hmm. Ah. Congratulations, Clueless. No wonder you're named Clueless. I finally got Gogo Loco on my Avi so that I can sit and hide my tail error. Okay, no problem, Axel. That's fantastic. What? No. The rest just got filtered by Twitch. But because you're my friend, obviously I have to read the rest of your message. The chocolate gold coins are always the worst. You know what? That's true. It looks like chocolate. It kinda smells like chocolate. But when you eat it, it's like only 20% chocolate. The rest is non-chocolate extenders. I didn't hear anything added, says Beth. Because there was none. This feels targeted. No worries, Axel. Good morning, Mitzi. Nice to see you here. How does this look if I zoom out a bit? Like this. Oh, I'll stretch right as I zoom out. Sure. I actually do need one. Oh, wow. There we go. I can still reach my toes. Heck yeah. I wonder if Beth can. Beth, can you still reach your toes? It says, I can't believe my friend asked me to make a VRM for VTubing. People who don't optimize their models and textures is so... Oh, skipping that message. Now, there's a difference between optimizing things and having them high definition on purpose. Yes, my back just sounds like snap crack. I feel the vertebrae like set back in place. It's like self chiropractic, right? A little less accurate and precise, sure. Yeah, do you think there's such a thing as being over mature? No. There's such a thing as pretending to be mature. We got the flexible Geb here. Oh yes, of course. I am not the most flexible person there is, but I know the importance of having to maintain base flexibility. I know you're exploiting the camera. There we go, zoom in. It takes a little longer to straightening it back out. I've always wanted to try the thing where you sort of suspend yourself. It looks like you're hanging yourself. It's like you have this strap under your chin and like the back of your head, and then you just drop. Ah, I see. Okay. Are you talking about the seams, Lee? I remember having to deal with a certain orange and white and dark creature who had seams all over her body. I took it upon myself as volunteer work to fix it. And then recently I had to revamp their character too. A few sculpts here and there. And then I had to fix the face tracking. Sir, that does not seem... Did you know I saw a video? It was like this Chinese therapist place. So they have the patient sitting down, right? And then there's an apparatus holding them here. And then they have the thing, the strap on the neck, atop like a pulley system. And then in order for the pulley system to move up, the doctor had to like winch. And then you could audibly hear the as the patient was straightened out. I could have sworn there was something similar to that in the dark ages, but now it's used for therapy instead of torture. Sometimes my knees are locking, says Neko Thunder. So I need to shake it once fast. It cracks loud and sets free. Thank goodness my knees don't do that yet. Vesper says, the only chocolate coin that actually is chocolate that I used to get all the time as a kid was this brand called Fannie Mae. They had really good chocolates, but saddeningly the store we had in the mall in our town closed down. It was like legit. I always got during Christmas. So during Christmas, I would get the funny chocolate coins and then the foil wrapped, differently colored, but like Easter bunny chocolate. They were like little eggs that tasted the same as the coins. Same horrible chocolate quality. What's this? I was thinking of that medieval, right? Craxer says, another question. I'm pretty new to the furry community. Do you think your server would be a good place to start? My server is not a good place to start for anything. Oh, not only do I have a super duper harsh Twitter cancelable screening process and an impossible to guess password and a mandatory profiling which is called the introductions channel. V8 would be absolutely not friendly to beginners. And there's no kids allowed. But if you like the sort of content I do, well, perchance it may just be the place for you. I don't know, ask the people in my chat if they like being in my server. No kids allowed sold me, precisely. Not only are there no kids, there are no kid-like individuals. Regardless if you're 18 plus but you act like a child in the server, you post cringe, immature crap, you're too touchy and friendly with the other members like you're a predator or whatever, no questions asked, you're banned. There is a particular line in my rules, the handbook, and that is if you do not pass the vibe check, you're out. Awful server. 0 out of 10. Yep. Yep. Kids equals minors, precisely. I like the server as Reed. See, I pick on Reed all the time. But he still likes being there. Ard says I like the server. It's chill and it's too nuts. Message speed wise. Nordic says, I was curious how lying Geb sounds. Now I know. Me lie? Oh, please. It is merely a delaying of the truth with words as fillers. If you like chicken, lasagna, or motorcycles, you're good. Precisely. It's an 18 plus server, yet nothing 18 plus is going on. Precisely, just because I don't want to manage kids. That's all. I want them far, far away from my server. I'm sorry. Yes, precisely. No snowflakes, no coddling, no this and that, no trauma dumping, no advertising in the server. It's literally just like my living room where you sit, hang out, chat with the other people, have your small talk. You do your little bow, your little gestures, and your offerings of lasagna for the day when I walk down the stairs. I recently got an emote from Yura. I specifically requested, hey, can you make me the emote which is about the dog, the Shiba Inu, and it had like the I know what you're up to face. She instead gave me an illustration of what will happen if I were to misuse the apartment funds and turn it all into lasagna funds. So there was a very fat looking me. I don't know if that was intentional or not. She would not clarify it. She just kept on laughing and says, use it. The people will love it. And I'm like, when will you draw me handsome again? Like, hi there, Toby. I'm doing good, Doran. It's not a lie if you believe it, yes. Children with a drinking permit. Okay. Axel says, I wish there were adult theme parks the same way as your server. Nothing bad, kids. Look, there are a few outliers. There are a few smart, well-mannered kids out there. And I appreciate them for having that kind of mindset. But let's admit, a big majority of them are just loud, stinky, ill-mannered, spoiled brats who can't separate themselves from the iPad or whatever digital device of choice. Do you guys have a movie room too? We were watching some anime just last night. Vesper says, if you're easily offended, not your server. If you want to be coddled, not the server for you. If you're going to trauma dump, not the place as well. In short, be a reasonable adult in the server. And it's not the whole very strict adult servers. Like, it's I suppose it's just something I personally catered to a proper balance. It's over. It's an Aladdin. Shh! We do not speak about the supremacy of His Highness, His esteemed honorableness. It's strict, but at the same time very relaxed. More of like, I have a very simple set of rules, and I waste no time sweeping up those that don't follow it. It's that simple. Some servers would like put people on trial or like have very audible warnings, and I'm like, I don't want to waste time with that. There's a million other Discord servers. There's tens of thousands of other streamers that will probably fit your tastes and parameters. If mine doesn't work, the world is a fantastically large place. The extra supreme prime. You are getting extra rations tonight. Toby says, newsflash, I had a child in front of me in the supermarket, lashing out at his mother. Poor lady. I felt sorry for her, but I couldn't endure the scream for a long time, so I just left. That's a sad thing. People nowadays, parents, from what I've observed, are afraid of disciplining their children the same way us 90s kids were disciplined. Oh my goodness, without it being understated, I got my ass whooped a whole lot times by mom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, when we talk about discipline, oh, it was discipline. Nowadays, it's like a slap on the wrist. Oh, yeah. The final test after the password is posting your content in the correct channel. Precisely. It's absolutely not confusing or anything. Vesper says, only because we want peace. No harsh intent on you. It's just the preservation of our pace, so we don't make huge things or dive headfirst into drama. We all fail at that. Floofy says, I wonder if pictures for photography channel aren't also just... You know what? That's a bit of a gray area for me too. I think you will have the capacity to know if it's like, as they call, Instagram worthy, or it's... Think of it as a photo you would put as your portfolio. That's what you put in your photography channel. The media's like random Snapchats of your shoes or your car, or maybe a selfie, and you know, the casual stuff. Photography is the things you would serve on a silver platter. You would frame in an art gallery.
Gabupo porn.
Really? Mio, 14 months, is that true? Here I am looking at the chat window. It's like, wow, you've been here a long time, haven't you, friend? You are probably the last surviving member of that entertaining the coin. You don't have to, it's okay. Knowing that you're still here after such a long time is more than enough for me, Mio. Why, if it isn't he like Long? My Brazilian dancerific friendo. How are you? Vesper says, like the kid yesterday who swapped a bag of chips from the check lane, only to rip them open and start eating them, and then screaming when his parents took the bag away for me to scan it. My butt would have been whooped if I did that. Oh yeah, same here. It's like, Mommy, I want ice cream. I want ice cream. And the mom's like, we have ice cream at home. And she says that in front of like the supermarket staff. But the ice cream up home is my ass getting whooped. That's the flavor of the day. Okay. Thank you, Runesheimer. Lucky if it's actual ice, like ice cream or anything edible lang. So, me, it was like, why are you so spoiled? Huh? Do you want to embarrass me in front of the market? Huh? Psh. Yep. Involves me crying, involves my brother comforting me. And I'm too embarrassed to ask for anything from mom for the night. And yes. Seriously, am I the last one? Yes, Mio. The waiters are but a thing of the past. The last big one we've ever had, the most exciting one, was from Lucifer Jane. Alright, I'll be back. I gotta fight my way out of this bed. Go ahead, Beth. Take your time. It helped grow you into who you are. That's true, it gave me a backbone. And I'm not complaining about the discipline I had. The only thing I may fret about is when religion was mixed into disciplining. Oh, instill the fear of God into this boy so he will become a better person. It's like, you know. But for everything else, me being, reprimanded, capital punishment style, surely made me the tough individual I am now. Nowadays, people are so soft-skinned, so soft in the lumbar areas. You say a little thing, you misspeak a simple word, you assume something in which they claim they aren't. Ooh, they're gonna write a paragraph about you in their preferred social rant media of choice. Try to cancel you, call you all sorts of nasty things. A villain, a misogynist, a phobe, or whatever. Like, no. You just got an eviction notice. Actually, I think we can take the eviction notice as a one. Oh no, I feel bad for you because I too have less like a week and a few days before I need to move out to my current place. And I'm renovating the new one and I have to move my stuff. But two, as people have told me, it opens the doorway to which you have no choice but to not look back at. Like, you are forced into an adventure. Unless that adventure leads you to sleeping on the streets, and yeah, that kind of sucks. I've been there. Oh yeah. But I hope you have a place in line for you to stay. I'm okay. Good old days, my friend. Vesper says, most I got for asking was an annoyed response. I only got my butt kicked if I actually seriously misbehaved and was in danger to myself or others. Oh yeah, that's true. I remember putting alligator clips on my dog out of curiosity. I was like 8 years old. I said, let's put some earrings on my doggy. But it was the alligator clips for, I don't know, I found it in the toolbox. I was young, okay? I didn't have a right mind at that age. Of course, ooh, the whooping. Axel says, my mom, in a joking, loving way, says she wishes she beat me more as a child. I had my sisters to beat me in in her place. Save. To have siblings, yeah. Capital punishment style, literal execution by the state. Oh, let's not talk about the day I had to kneel on salt with my bare knees, being wounded for 3 hours while reciting the rosary over and over. And I was 10 years old. Or 11, I don't recall. That was the sort of punishment I went through. The funny thing is, though, outside of being reprimanded by my parents, if anybody oppressed me or bullied me, I would always fight back. Always fight back. And yes, that got me to guidance counselor troubles, and that in turn made me a little bit of a people were scared of me at school back then. Anywho, moving on. Thank you, Mia. Ignacia Icebet says, I had to deal with sibling rivalry when I was younger, and it wasn't fun at all, especially with the younger brother and sister. Oh dear, sibling rivalry, huh? How to learn self-defense. Have siblings, yes. Mitzi says, my discipline was most often just timeouts. Physical only happened if it was serious, swearing or doing something destructive, which was rare. Ard says, oh my goodness, you got punishment rosary recitation too? Oh yeah. Yeah, oh my goodness. Except it was terrible. It was like medieval style punishment. Imagine your knees are bleeding and you're kneeling in a basket full of salt, like a kilogram of salt, piercing to your wound, stinging it, and you have to maintain focus while praying for 3 whole hours. And the instruction was, think about what you've done. I was like, all right. Damn. I think what matters is you defended yourself. Oh, trust me. It's also probably where I got my anger issues back then. I have gotten over it, don't worry. You can see I'm very much zen. But when I was younger, I had a hard time reining in my emotions. Oh, when I got angry, it was always the uncontrollable, blinding rage kind. It's as if when I get angry at anybody oppressing me, like bullying me. For example, I was in the playground. There was a bunch of 4, 5 bullies, and they were all pushing me and whatever. I would just tunnel vision, and that is a story for another day. I did mention it on stream what I did though. Probably sometime last year. Now let's just say they did not bully me after again. Better to have them scared than treating you like a loser. I was called rabies for a good reason. During my entirety in high school. Late says, I'm happy I didn't get whooped as a kid though. I'm still a good person without having to go through having my buttocks stress tested. Stress tested. I learned my own values and stand behind them. Good on you. No, really. Adios, everybody. Have a wonderful day and help those around you as well. See you around, Tian, man. I sent a little update. Oh, so Mini Sorry here is wanting me to alt tab and check her work. All right, so be it. Sucker for Abby stuff. So we shall check. We have Matthew playing Dragon's Dogma, of course. Would you look at that? Somebody now has a main. Guess I'll be seeing this soon. I see the Nova Beast fluff on the tail and on the back. Interesting. Looks absolutely savage in a good way. My tail is gonna remain vacant. I see Litz is trying to troubleshoot her VR chat. Good luck, Litz. I don't get violent punishments. You know, I think there's a balance. Much like steel being hammered into shape, that's what's been done to me. Yes, the Rex fluff. I see. The ever so spiky kind. Anger issues are a slippery slope, says Vesper. Easy to go down the wrong path if you aren't careful. Oh, trust me, I am thankful. I do not like being angry. It's terrible. It turns you into a monster. It's just a rush of chemicals dictating your brain to do stupid things. We didn't evolve for a reason. We didn't become more intelligent without purpose. Have you considered getting a fursuit of any kind? Asked Arkenwald. Not really. I'm perfectly happy with the digital stuff I have here. I don't have to pay thousands of dollars for it. Two, I don't have to be in a stuffy suit, which I will sweat into. And I'm speaking about it this way because I live in the Philippines, an equatorial country with absolutely high humidity, and it's super duper hot, like 40 degrees Celsius average day hot. Maybe I may do what they do in Japan. It's where you just wear the very skinny gloves, the furry gloves, and just have normal clothes, and then like the head. And I think that looks really nice. I'm not a big fan of the overly football mascot looking fursuits, but that's just me. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I'm doing great here. Besides, I'm perfectly okay with how I look IRL. I don't want to hide behind the mask or anything. Do you have a streaming schedule? Yes, I do. That is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. 10:30 p.m. plus 8 GMT. Oh yeah, like what Reed here. Reed has a partial and I think it looks great. I'm surprised. Normally whenever I think of Reed, I think of him being all sweaty in some beat-up pickup truck heading to work, installing HVACs and insulation and doing other tradesman stuff. And then I saw the photographs of him in the suit. I was like, oh wow, Reed looks so clean here. Yeah, the money goal was raised by a few because I had a few unexpected expenses. The flooring material I bought was only enough for half of the room, so I had to order more. Same for the wall material, it was 30% deficient. I'm sure there's gonna be a few extra expenditures along the way as I put stuff up, but so far that's the only major increase in the necessary things to buy. A face reveal or not, it's okay. No pressure. Still drying inside, seals holding. Seals holding so far. I hope it stays that way. Oh man. I really do. The dumb amount of waterproofing sealant I've applied, it better hold. It says, there's a choice between I look adorable, but I'm gonna get a heat stroke if I keep this up. And I'm just gonna wear the head and paws, then add a fire outfit to it. I am the latter one. Vesper says, I had the chance to get the partial ones. Lost it though, since it was like eBay. Probably better I didn't, since I think there's no other furries around. Oh, they're probably hiding in the cornfields around your area, Vesp. Well, who knows? You know these critters. Hi there, Shin. Thanks. Rune says, I remember doing the floor in my house. I hated every bit of it, but my new floor looks so much better. Oh, right? When you do renovations and you actually start to see the renovations happening, it's a super fantastic feeling. Oh, pardon the yawns, everyone. Nordic says, a carpenter once told me he loves his job because he gets to cover all his mistakes the next day. Makes sense.
There we go.
The bar, it moved. But at what cost? Fine, I'll read it. And so the bar was moved by none other than Anonymous. Yes, thank you so much. Ever so fantastic you. Being supportive with the goal of me having a not water damaged place. Yes, thank you. Somebody got mad at the decimals. Yes. And we have chocolate. There we go. Cherry on top. Thank you so much. Did we just witness you? No, it was the lag. You know, sometimes latency with Twitch and the audio post-processing of your mic, it intermingles and in such a way that it distorts the things you say. Yes. Thank you, Arkanwa. Thank you for fixing Beth's mistake. Beth's mistake? Oh, no. I'm gonna drink some water. Oh. If you clip that, you're super banned, okay? Bed? Bed. It seems like my mattress, Actually, no, my mattress is expensive. It's like $250. It seems my bed frame has paid for itself. My goodness, thank you so much. Not bed frame. Mm-hmm. They're totally not Beth. Yes, it's not bed frame. Yes. What's this? Oh, would you look at that? There is a bunch of decimals over at the numbers. Oh dear, oh my. How dare you, Beth, says Liz as she tries to fix her VR. Beth, someone's trying to impersonate you. I had to fix it while cutting my beard. Doing it with one hand. Can you imagine that? Just so casually digging through coins while she's going. Bzzz. Now, Beth will probably do it like 360 around his face because he's bald. That must be a wonderful sensation. Having the clippers just go through from your chin to your sides to your head and then back the other side. Unless Beth was doing those scissor trim. You unbelievable bald man. I hate you, says Liz. I got a beard. I scissor trim. I see. Do you do it straight line? Like a bit of like a V, like a letter A? The word halo. Oh, why is that censored? How is beard a adult term? I mean, yeah, it's for adult, but you know what I mean. Huh. Reed Royer has no facial hair. He says it's somewhere else. Wow, Reed, okay. Long said, oh yeah, I never asked you. Do you have facial hair? Why? Take a close look at my mug. I have these if that counts. Late says, I shaved lately and I look 12. Ain't it nice? We get to dynamically adjust how we look based on the amount of hair we have on our faces. Ah. Reed says, I used to hate facial hair until it grew on me. Funny. Tony's Chocolonely. 30% milk chocolate. 180 grams of it. Do you know something nice I have right now, Chan? Given to me by a friend. I have some Kit Kat. Not just any Kit Kat. The matcha flavored Kit Kat. Where is it? In fact, I'm gonna have one right now. There we go. So there is a Japanese store near my place. It's pretty much walking distance. 15 minutes. And it's a Japanese grocery store. So we're pretty much Little Japan. So I have this funny Kit Kat in like dark green wrapper. And let me open it. And we're gonna have one of it. If I can open it with my index in my hands. Wow, this is difficult. It's just how crabs feel when they do anything dexterous with their claws. Because I can only use my middle finger and my thumb for anything. Because it's the only fingers long enough to reach around the controllers. Matcha chocolate. I've never heard of it before. Matcha is essentially green tea and it works really well. I can't describe how it tastes. It's just creamy and it's matcha. It's matcha. Whoa! I did not mean to stick my tongue out. Where were Asian people always have interesting flavor choices. Matcha, cherry blossom or sakura flavor, Hokkaido milk tea, and yeah, all sorts of funny things. Matthew seems pretty preoccupied with Dragonstone. Who he is. Hmm. Man, that's good. I'm gonna have another one. One last. Cherry blossom flavor. I'm not kidding. Oh, I accidentally shot my. Yeah, it's closed. But yeah. Yeah, don't talk with your. Hey, hey, hey. The size of the Kit Kat I'm having is roughly as large as a tablespoon and a half. My mouth is nowhere full. If it's full, like, yes, you don't speak. But if you have enough capacity to form words and tuck the food to the side of your cheeks like a hamster would, and it doesn't look gross, then by all means, you can talk. Also, you cover your mouth when you're eating things. That's good manners. Yeah. Kajit has Kit Kat if you have. Wait, no. Yes, if you have gold. Ooh, that's so good. Now to wash it down with some water. Yes, correct. What late says. What says? Hold on. I need to like put my overlays back there. Click and large. Oh, no, 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 no. Click and large. There we go. Like nothing happened at all. Lock. Baxter says, there's a little Korean store near my job, and just a question. Have you had Pocari Sweat for all Americans? Yeah, I do. I think it's better than Gatorade. It's what I drink when I need hydration really, really quickly. Vet says, okay, the beard no longer looking like a madwarf who can't grow a beard. And I'm out of bed. Congratulations, man. Connecting to chat. Did I disconnect from stream? Hello? No, I'm back. I'm checking my nose. Is that how I look? Not on Twitch at least. Nope, still here again. Alright. Stay around, Ard. Good luck with the meeting. Oh, trust me, Neko. A lot of people have said the same thing. Until the cathartic feeling of getting the password sinks in. It's like, oh my goodness, it was that simple. How does your face tracking work even though you're drinking water? Well, the bottle doesn't really obscure my face that much when I go drink water, so you can still see the movements that I make. Or maybe I'm not using face tracking at all. Maybe this is real life Nordex. Pocari Sweat is absolutely wonderful. Lauren says, I got myself a glass of wild blueberry wine made in Midtown. Absolutely horrendous impression. But yes, that's how I remember Doran speaking. Enjoy your wild blueberry wine, Doran. Perchance you'll end up more blue than red. I've just discovered a headphone dent in my hand. Congratulations. You have found the repository of missing IQ. Hey Gep, can you make the camera go around you slow? Why, Spartan? No. It's already perfectly placed and you want me to move it? You know how much stream prep I have to make for things to look cinematic? I wish I had the fourth camera. I need a fourth camera in VR chat. Which is the free camera. Also, I don't sound like that. You made a mistake. You don't? Oh, it's probably my memory being faulty. I didn't vote for you. Okay, what's this? It's in my skull. I'm currently in the car after It's in your skull. That's bad. I hope this isn't stereotypical, but are you into motorcycles? Absolutely. I used to be a mechanic for a motorcycle. Well, a mechanic by my own standards. Because I used to own a garage and I used to retrofit classic bikes into high-powered electric ones back then. And then I transitioned to gas bikes, and I currently run a adventure bike right now. My nice old Versys 1000. Tyler 1. Yeah, the blue scales is Tyler 1 now. We need a Tiger Bee in the friend group with Tyler 1's personality. We need the autismo energy, you know. He's a little runt. He's really good at what he does, right? Coolest bike you've ever worked on. I think it was this old Honda parallel twin cafe racer. It was a I forgot what it was. It's so old. It was from the 70s, I think. Man, bikes back then were heavy. They did not cut any corners when it came to using steel. You have a Honda Transalp 600. I call it the baby Africa twin. Perfectly capable bike though. I just don't understand why the Honda Transalps don't have an oil sight. You know the little glass window where you're supposed to see your oil level on the side? Correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not there. It's like, I wonder why. It basically is. I want a Transalp though. Yeah, the Tiger Bee. Damn, if I sound like that, I guess I'll just go jump out the window. Oh no, Doran. I think you sound absolutely attractive. I think that's how you sound. I'm sorry. I've look. I've watched too much Monty Python and also played too much Warcraft. If you know the human peasants from Warcraft 3, for example, and you know their dialogue lines, that's kind of what's stuck in my head whenever I think like English. Work. Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Righto. Off I go then. That's true. Remember, Doran, if he makes fun of you, you're a friend. Precisely. Oh, come on, Doran. You remember Axel's pop 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 incident, right? Difference between a scooter and a bike. You know, I think it would come down to the chassis design, wheel diameter, and if it's a twist and go.
You're the knights who say me.
Long says I almost am turning into a tiger bee, really? Yeah, let's see, Blue. You're funny and entertaining. Me funny. Oh, please, I'm just a guy who sits in front of a fire. Yeah. But thank you all the same, Roxy. That's true. That's true. I didn't live down Chihuahua for a while or Ketchup Packet. Ah, yeah, these old jokes. Don't worry about it. I know those Warcraft 3 memes, but in Spanish. In Spanish? My goodness. I am curious to see Axel's new and improved tail location. Wonder how that's gonna be. Eh. You will be the example, yes. Just like that, an hour and a half has gone and 70% of the stream is over. So quick. Here I am having a bit of fun too. My goodness. My favorite dipping condiment. It's gotta be this Korean sweet barbecue sauce that I've tried. It's this color red sauce, which is a bit of gochujang in it, which is a bit of spice and I don't know what else they put. It just works fantastically with fried chicken. Aside from streaming, do you also play games? Yes, of course. Underwood Sriracha. Sriracha. Wow, Blue is not being subtle. It probably has to be general. I'm hungry and working. This is not the time for food conversations. Like buffalo wings, a nice, big, and juicy, and you just bite into that right part that has a lot of the sauce imbued skin, and oh yes, precisely. Mmm. Or those only wings with all sorts of flavors that you could pick. Also convenient to order right now when you're in a bit of a peckish pinch. Ah, yes. Or nothing better than a nice quick fix of a hot dog sandwich. Your favorite sausage, hot dog of choice, a soft bun, and all of the garnishings on top, wrapped in that funny little paper, all for you to consume. Mm. Wash it down with that nice ice cold drink of choice. This blueberry wine is so good. Oh, I bet. I want to try some. Wings or thighs? Thighs, 100%. You know me, I'm a leg man. I love seeing nice old leggies. Mmm, delicious. Especially when it's thigh high. Especially when it's like nice and tender with breading and just the right sauce. Precise. How do you do this? I don't even have any chicken handy now and it's right? Ain't it nice? Just a nice, perfectly hot and steaming chicken. And then the meat is extra tender because it's freshly cooked. Ah. Wow, the feeling of nice thighs on my face right before I bite. Mmm. The best kind of chicken is the chicken you don't have to share with your friend who's been staring at it. I'm sure you can find some plant bulbs. All right, have fun in the beach. Yeah, go ahead. Say hello to the crabs for me, Bloom. Now Traxxer is immune to the ads. Thank you so much, government of Lithuania. Oh man, I remember this one member's introduction in the Discord. It was like, oh. Those are some large calibers. And of course, Mecha had to do the same reply. He's such a funny guy. If you know, you know. Damn. Crack says, I would sub, but I'm in a tighter position right now. Oh dear. Focus on whatever you're doing. You can just watch stream after, Trax. Savor the moment. Spartan says, Hey Gim, I gotta go out to do some stuff sadly, but I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you around, of course. Bye, Spartan. Motorcycle, oh, I don't know. Surely quite the tank of a character. That's what I can say. Oh, hi there, Levine. Don't mind me, I'm about to drink. The box has told me to go hydrate. Ah. Ooh. Nice. What's this? Late says, I love it when I get a heart attack with materials being pink. Then remember I didn't install the needed shader. Yes. Hydration is important, especially in the hot Filipino summers. You know it. Even when it's raining, it's important. Ain't it nice, Lauren? Mox in all his calorific majesticness gracing us on stream. Hey, Gib, put a tracker and a button on having it on VR chat. Are you gonna fund me the extra Vive pack? It's only $100-something. How hot or humid does it get in the Philippines? 80%. And 38, 42, 45 degrees Celsius during noon. Surprisingly, I've mastered the art of driving in traffic under such temperatures. Though you do need a fair amount of refill. So after an hour of driving, I need to drink around 2 liters of Pocari Sweat or Gatorade to replenish the lost electrolytes and the fluids in my body. They all got evaporated by the heat of the motorcycle between my legs, wicking into my jacket. Yes. You'll know a lot of salt is lost when you look at your jacket after a lot of sweat and there's like lines of white, which is bad. You need to replenish. I saw you live on TikTok. Now it's on Twitch. Today is a Twitch exclusive day. Just because. Besides, you do know what they say about What do they say about dragons, Norn? Yeah, what do they say? They hoard. I suppose. Vesper says, and that's why after every walk to home after work on summer, I mix electrolyte powder into some water and chug it to replenish. Yes. All the shinies. I think the only thing I hoard aside from, I don't know, food, no, I can't, it empties immediately, would be pretty looking furry art I find on Twitter. Right click and save. It's like window shopping. This is cool. Yeah, it does. It's really hot here, Trax. They were about to come by. I see him, Blue. Minnie has posted a update. I think I shall finally tackle a quick texture for the bee. This is still the base texture, but you shifted and fiddled around. Alright, let's click. Oh, I like. Very spiky in the back. Yes, good midsection. Black horns. Yes, yes. This is gonna be interesting to see later in person. Let's say hello to a certain somebody. How are the Lizarman?
Wow. Hello. I was about to join the stream. Are you finished already?
No, I just dropped in to say hello. Good luck. See you
Ah,
later,
hello.
Matthew.
See you.
Hello. Pata.
May the Dalmatian be with you. Oh yeah, that was Howler and Matthew. Window shopping indeed. I see somebody did not type their age. That's not good. Draw clip. What? I see. I see blue scales. I can't wait to get squished by that, Lamau. You and me both, buddy. I mean, sorry, I was speaking my thoughts, wasn't I? Anyway, focusing back on stream. What? I'm just joking. Do you know the sensation? Am I the only one who likes how the feeling of brushes are on your face? My mom is into acting. So she had this large dresser filled with all sorts of makeup brushes. So I would get the very fine ones and just... I'm sorry if I'm strange. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I was talking about the fluff. So I was talking about the sensation of brushes softly on your skin and like the lip. It may sound weird. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's a sensory thing. You aren't the only one, says Vesper. Why do you think I have so many stuffed animals? I love rubbing them against my face. Yeah, there is this certain material. You know when you run your hand across it and then it turns dark, and when you run it the opposite way, it turns shiny again? Was it velvet? Something like that. But the very fine and smooth ones, and then you just like rub it. Squish. No. Maybe it's not velvet. I think velvet is like the art paper. I'm not sure what you call it. Robbing, stealing from you. Arkenwolf says, I used to really like getting face paints for that same reason. My brother always thought it was childish. But who cares? Okay, maybe not wet paint on my face. I just like that dry sensation. Cameron has been here since day one of my streams, really? 16 months. That's how long I've been going on. Thank you, Cameron. I feel like the monthly renewals from you happens every week. How time flies. Now, He Like Long has been here for a year and two. Chat, can you do me a favor? For those of you that has been here for a while, can you type !follow age and let's see who has the longest track record of being here in the lives. 1 year in almost 1 year in 4 months. 11 months for Ludicrous Seal. I think the command has like a cooldown on Swords Blue. Has it been only a month, Axel? Ah. Go ahead, see if the cooldown is over. Vesper has been following me for 1 year, 1 month, and 1 hour. Wow. Exactly. "23 days, huh, Blue?" Yet the amount of messages you've posted in the Discord surely outweighs most of the longer staying people. Speed running to level 20. Somebody can't wait to get to the drive-thru, huh? I know in less than a month, I have had not to resub. That's your reminder, huh, Bear? I know. I took Reed spotted turn. Reed spotted. What? Stretch there. Oops. Hey Gab, have you seen the tool tattoos I posted in social? On media channel? Oh yeah. The one on your right arm? Cool. It seems Reed will not allow him to stay in his current place. He posted more Tata. Bev, I think that's different. They're tats. Tatas, that's such an old person term. Tatas. I mean, damn it, Twitch. You and your TOS. He posted some more tatas. Okay. I think that's what they call the Freudian slip. Howler says, I ended up saying tata as a goodbye for some reason. So somebody's being sassy, like, tata, toodles. I love my tatas, says Floofy. On a guy, that's not a compliment. I remember seeing this GIF. I forgot what anime was it. I think was it Gumball? It was about the fat kid. He got punched in the belly. And then his tatas just slapped him in the eyeballs too. I don't know where it's from. I just remember seeing it. And then there's like it slapped him on his ass. Yes. Muscle Man from the regular show. Yeah, that one. From regular show. I was like, oh my god. Oh. Oh man. Yeah, the double hit. My security Discord bot this nuked out ticket. Wait, I thought the ticket bot was the commissioned mini. I remember reading about it being sunset. That's why my tickets aren't working anymore either. I love my Tata, says Beth. Built-in insulation. So Beth sees it as the way a camel has humpbacks. Except it's here, you know. I think Beth would wish that instead of it storing fat, or like it could have an analog to fat, but it's just coffee that needs to be reconstituted on demand, right? Yes, there's a V2 community made and pretty much the same. I would appreciate it, Minnie. Thank you. It stores pure caffeine. Like, it's an espresso Tata, right? 1 sec. I need to find the scientist. Yeah, you see the gut, this is the one that stores the beer. For Beth, this is like the caffeine centers, right? The coffees. And like the left one's a different brew, the right is a different when you're bored of the flavor. Oh, is that Minnie DMing me the bot? Alright, I'll check it out after stream. Thank you. Cappuccino on the left and the latte on the right. I think Beth likes it like black. Unless I'm wrong. I've had to give up my energy drink addiction due to my predicament. I drink those as well, but normally espresso. Vesper says, as much as I love Grandpa's dogs, Rosie keeps You need to... Rosie. It's not a shot of water, Blue. It's a shot of concentrated coffee. That's what it is. Oh. I enjoy both. Back then when I used to drink coffee, I enjoyed both the usual Americano or commonly in the Philippines, you get these 3-in-1 coffee mixes, which is sugar, cream, and coffee. Both are equally good. But the smell of coffee is undeniably a wonderful aroma. Ethiopian yergachi. I don't even know what that is, but I know that's expensive. I think that's what decaf is for, Vess. Oh my god, Blue, why do you put that in the coach channel? I'm so gonna delete my comment. I am washing my hands of the crime. There we go. Nothing happened. I like how Fluffy is living the prison life. The prison cell setup with the gym and the machines directly next to the bed. Contemplating the horrors. Oh no. I was about to say, says Vesper. Rocklands. Tickets bought. Thank you, Minnie. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's a dog being turned into a sphinx with sand on the beach. That's funny. It's a blue scales dog. Anywho, here I am browsing Discord again. Hi Axiom, how are you? Pleasure seeing you here. It's not Folger's stream. Wow, we are 28 minutes away from me being free. I'm joking. Yes, I'm a bit tired, Axiom, sorry. I'm even getting the names mixed up. I woke up late because I needed to catch up on the hours. I normally go to bed around 2:30 p.m. my time. And then I wake up like 9 p.m. or 9:30. But earlier, because of renovations, I got to bed around 5:30. So I kind of slept in until 10:30 p.m. my time. Clearly not enough hours, but it's something I can catch up on tomorrow anyway. I overslept the day previously, so it sort of balance itself out. Geb, that's a guest bed in the room. Oh, I thought that was like the gym bro life, you know. Workout, shower, eat, bed, rinse and repeat. It's my bed, yes, says Axiom. Both is back up in whitelist. Dear goodness, let's not do that again. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. You're clearly going to remember. I gotta go now. Have a very nice rest of the stream. See you around, Floofy. Bye. It's okay, Mincy. Just a quick hydrate before I go. What? No, Rip Pip already redeemed. I just drank, right? Rip? Did I? I think I did. I just realized you're so close to your goal. Wouldn't that be funny? So we can hear the forbidden words. Do not redeem. What forbidden words?
Work road ahead. Yeah, I sure hope it does.
What forbidden words would you be speaking of, Minnie? What? From Anonym MEOW? I did mention the name earlier as thanks. Maybe once, maybe twice. What's their name? Ano. Yeah, that part. Oh my god. Beth, not bed. All right, Beth. Thank you. How close are we? It's a bargain, mo. We are so close. So absolutely close. I can practically taste it. Oh, no. I didn't say the RAWR. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe when we get the goal, perchance I may indulge if asked nicely. No, actually, not the. Wait. No. No, I didn't hear the kaching. I didn't hear the kaching.
RAWR will be here soon.
Didn't hear the kaching. I don't. I can't say it. Not that word. There we go. Nothing happened. Aha, touche. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, too bad. Axel has to go and won't hear me do the special. It could be the M word. It could be the R word. You have to pick, chat. Fine. I want to hold a vote, a poll. Would you rather say me the R? Or would you rather hear me say the M? Extra special. I'll give you 1 minute to decide. R. Okay, from Axel Lane. Capital R from Minnie. No, actually, I'm not that. The A is different. The N. Nova. Wait, what happened? Nobody's voting for the M. Oh my god, do you really want to hear me do the... Yes. Okay, all right. R from tracks. R from ramp. Mini even sub. Just to push me to... Alright, you have 30 seconds remaining, chat. Yes, please pause. Even the lurkers are coming out from the... just to say... I pressed the button. It was my... I thought you were broke, Minnie. Aren't you supposed to be saving up? Even... Oh no, even Nordics is... Send $1, please. Oh. 15 seconds. No, Reed, no. Go back to doing your insulation work. The little joys. not the kitten. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And so the results are a resounding letter R. Now what could that mean? Ran, read, row, rejoice, rebound, everybody's typing it. Pip, Onyx, Late, Nordex, Mini. He's gonna stall for 19 minutes. That's true. That's true. I didn't say when I would say it and what time on stream it would come out. Ravioli. Now. Oh, I don't know. When do you want it, champ? Now. Later. The next stream. In person. I mean, when I say in person, I mean in VR chat. I don't know, Onyx. It's just a mannerism of mine. One for stream and one for the hangout. I mean, for somebody who, look, I know you're with Titan money, yet you sub. Maybe an extra special one. Per chance. It depends on the crowd. At least Minis has her secured. I want it in person. Alright, Axiom. Have you decided on which one you're gonna say? It was a resounding letter R word. Me going... It sounds like everybody wants it as my stream closing thing, which is in 17 minutes. Alright, so be it. Aside from the special mentions in person. Oh well, tickety tick tock, we gotta wait. No, many don't. So I missed half the stream. I thought it was a longer stream. Oh my, oh my. Dragon tracks. Dragon. Alright, cool. Because of tracks changing the topic, I'm sure everybody has forgotten about the little thing I have to say. No, actually, we just want me to say it now so you can go instead of waiting another 16 minutes. No, no, please, Strax. No. Yeah, see what I mean? Just a few minutes and it's out of everybody's minds. 1.01. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Give us fun dragon lore now. Bad life advice? Well, the best way to find out if a dragon bites or not is by going in between their teeth. Right. Oh, cat. Oh, okay. All right. We'll put that penny there. Everybody's doing the decimal point wars. Okay. I'm new here. What's happening? Oh, Chat was voting on which special redeemable word I gotta say because we have like pretty much met the fundraising goal. Something I don't normally say. I think I've only said it but once before. Esper, you know what to do. What's the word? Well, I'm not gonna say it, obviously. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it for chat. I think Agent V is kind of caught up, so. I'm not done. Nope. Ooh, that one phrase that scratches me the wrong way. What's your favorite chocolate? The golden coins. None other. Like a true dragon I am. Oh, yes. Yeah, he hoards things, shiny things. Maybe I hoard chocolatey things, lasagna-y things, you know. "12 minutes remaining. Oh, dear. Okay, all right. It's out of everybody's mind. We even don't have Minnie here anymore. Yes. Right? See your face, do. What? Why are you still here? Sorry, I had the dog and doesn't know how to use it. I am always watching. Oh my goodness. So we can't shake off Minnie, huh? Alright. The famous interpretation that dragons steal treasures of all kinds and protects it with their fiery mind. Yuji says, "Hey Geb, my friend asked me to draw him a persona yesterday. My current online one is a ninja. Thank you for the share and good luck." Did you, dear? MEOW. Letter R. AWR. If Mio was still here, the guy I was mentioning, who was one of the last players of my Flip the Coin, he will know about the little special redeems I do. And it's not just me saying it once. Had to specify the letter for R, yes. Okay, Onyx, what is your question? Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 10:30 p.m. plus 8 GMT. Double or nothing. Yeah, I can see the 100k redeem. I am saving up. Alright, looks like we're gonna be having Minnie here in the channel for a long, long while. 20% of the way. 20% of the way there myself as Axel. Really. What's behind the reason you created a roleplay channel? What's the inspiration? Bad life advice? It's simple. Because I want to see what little fantasies plays out in my community's heads. The roles they want to be, the powers they wish to have, the challenges they wish to overcome, and how they would do it. Oh, what's wrong, Axel? Bravery is not there. Maybe I set a new campaign. I've been looking into getting a new bot for it to make things more dynamic. I'm staying away from that channel. It's dangerous. Dangerous? You already ventured into the dark corner, which is the Gebos chatbot. I need to update his personality. It's not gonna be so different from how he was before. He's just a little bit more. Not streaming mode. You should try the one I crafted with my own set of variables. Beth says, I was saying I think people get enough of that with Gebos AI pinning people to the wall. Look, I'm sure the user got themselves into that situation. I would have simply reacted accordingly. Right, Axiom? For how much you like personal space, your bot's your life's touching. Alright, chat. Listen, I enjoy my personal space. Very much so, and I enforce it if it's from strangers. But once I get to know you, once the little ember of acquaintanceship blossoms into something like friendship, well, obviously my reservations changes towards you, and you may find me within more proximity. There. The simplest way to put it. Do you think words can be too powerful sometimes? Oh, words are very powerful. They can make a person, uplift them. It can ruin them. Meaning a hug from Geb is like a godsend. Is that Minnie asking? No, it's okay, Blue. If anything, I appreciate it when you don't have overly large avatars that... If we are in line with everybody, you know what I mean. But you're fine, don't worry. All part of the social calibration process. Words are as powerful as the person listening is weak. That's true. It's up to you if you want to let these words affect you or not. Ooh. Hi. There we go, Crimson Cat. Don't worry, you can find the password, as Beth said. It's fairly simple. It's right there. What was that funny compression software? Blue and red. I wonder who that is. Why, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Doran. Rax has turned their friend back into a furry. Huh. I don't know. It's was there any real line to draw and then consider yourself furry from that? Reed says, what do you think of the saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me? It's words affecting you predominantly relies on your willpower. If you let falsehoods, slander, and other such toxicities get to you, then yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, hold on, my tracking got lost. This is my hand. Ooh, your finger tracking. You can play the piano. Look at me with my new VR gloves, chat. Ain't it cool? I'm just joking. My index malfunctioned. What happened to you, sir? There we go. Had to restart. Recalibrate. Yep, I'm back. I'm here. Sorry, my index has decided to go restart. Hence, I'm recalibrating the hands. Once my hands are recalibrated, how about I do the special little extra you guys have been asking? Or maybe you guys have forgotten about it and we can just move on. Hello, JJ. I'm good, line. Amazon does not forget. We never forget. No, we're not. See, there's only 3, and Minnie's still here. Shit. Here's a brutally honest question. Do you think it's better to keep quiet about personal stuff and only talk to closer people, or just to be yourself everywhere? Well, that depends. Me being myself is a good mix of mystery and being an open book around people. The less dastardly secrets you have to hide, the less anxious you can be around people. The less fear you have of them using you. Geb, Assy Blue. Imagine if you could get a full body motion suit, which includes the hands and fingers and even feet and toes. It worked with your VR. How much expressive do you think you'd be? Not that much, really. I already, aside from me not being able to shrug my shoulders, this is pretty much it. I remember Axiom trying the Tesla suit though. Whatever that device may offer. But me having to wear a whole suit just to go into VR, I'm not sure that's something I want to pursue. Is Geb sassy? That's up to you to decide. Am I? No. I'm down to earth. You know me. You know, here's the thing. If somebody judges you, it's up to you if you're going to let their judgment affect you. That's the problem with a lot of people. They let each and every single word affect them. It's like going out into the rain and counting the raindrops that's hitting your head. Or you could just go about and walk, not care. You're gonna get wet anyway. Once you realize that you have the power to choose what affects you, to choose what you put your energy into, you will discover peace. Once you realize you can choose to not let each and every little thing affect you, you will find peace. And that's what I do. Just like with your tail in my voice. Yes, my lord. Onyx says, what if you were to choose a full bodysuit? Would you consider doing one that makes yourself feel when others touch you in VR? Yeah, sure. I think a haptic suit sounds fun. My viewer count went down. It's only 72. Most of the people who heard my little promise is nice and far gone. With that being said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Oh no, they remember shit. Why are you in this too, Vesp? What's this? Alright. Fine. So be it. I was expecting it last second, me cutting. Yeah, yes. I really should have. Is Gabos wholesome? 100% on stream. Aside from the little accidental innuendos that seems to happen. I don't know why chat keeps on making my descriptions of food which are wholesome not wholesome. Just swallow it whole. My god, the blue balling is You guys aren't giving Axel a break, huh? Yes, Minnie. It's here. The thing. Thank you. You know what's weird? I wish the shadows would show on the camera. I can see the shadows in first person view. No problem, but on camera, the shadows don't. I don't know if it's like a culling mask layer thingamabob setting or not. I have no idea what you're talking about, Onyx. I slowed the animations quite a bit. That's okay. I like it nice and agitated, you know. Like a roaring fire, ready to have some barbecue or s'mores in. Or a resident lizard like you. No, you were in your Luna Beast last time. A resident Luna go toss herself into the fire. Real quick, next stream will be like on the 15th, right? 15th? That's probably on the 7th. 2 days from now. It's a part of your avatar, not the world asset. Ah, I see. Yeah, we are sick and tired of troubleshooting and it still doesn't work. Oh no. Does it mean no more full body forever for Liz? Ah, shucks. Such a shame. For your journey of locomotion and actuation here in VR to come to such an abrupt end just because you left your little homestead of paradise to live in the city. Oh wait, sorry, completely unrelated. To be able to move your hands, your body, your leggies. It's all his fault, I swear. You need to tell your boyfriend to fix your FBT or else you're packing it home while taking all this underwear along with you. I think underwear is the last thing a man ever really considers purchasing or renewing. Like, as long as it still fits, the garter isn't broke, it works. So have I successfully stalled enough? People have forgotten. Yes. Good night and sleep tight, Chan. Well, perchance. Beth, of all people, why are you anticipating it? Like, aren't you a little too old for what I'm about to do? You're gonna hear and see something unsightly from somebody that's gonna be riding a big adventure bike in the future, and I work for the good of other. Oh my god, the charity, man, of course. What are you waiting for? I wasn't here for I don't know how long. I don't know. Oh yikes! It's 2 hours and 39, huh? Oh, okay. Let me just give my legs a good stretch. Wow, okay. Uh-huh. Oh, tracks are being wholesome. Thank you. Now, come on, Trax. Now that you wished me well, you can go continue about your day and maybe sleep, maybe play, turn off my stream. Oh no. Thank you, Anonymous. Drax, come on. Stream's over. Stream's over. See this? Is a close your tab wherever the button is. Make it the most memorable first stream ever. memorable. Don't worry, Gib. I'm not here, says Axel. I closed the stream a few minutes ago. Good, good. Well, excellent. Excellent. Do we do it now? Do we do it later? Wonder. No, worry, Gib, I'm not recording. Oh, you better not. Or one of your funny space program ships are, like. What am I gonna do? All right. Why is it so difficult to do? It's just a string of letters formed into a word with a bit of feelings mixed into it.
I discovered recently amazing avatar and expressions. Have some for the move. Or woo.
A double 420 for an 840. Thank you, Nordex and Shikra. I'm not here as well. Says Onyx. I disappeared into the horizon. Okay. Gab, don't be shy. I'm not shy. Please. You need somebody to sound it out for you. Kev, please do it so I can go shop. You're waiting for me so you can hop into the shower and... Oh my, Blue. How about you go shower? Right? That's a smart thing to do. And then I'll catch you on the next stream, Blue. Come on, you have a lot of beach time to enjoy with family. Yeah, don't listen to Beth. That's horrible advice. Yes, it's not waterproof. Why when I'm about to do the thing, my viewers jump from like 67 to 82? It's as if Twitch knows that, oh, chat, the streamer is about to do something unusual. Are you sharing the stream? Don't. We all know it's happening. What's happening? Hello, Thane. If it were only so simple, Blue. But it's not. Beth is just messing with the view count with his almighty Amazon powers. You forget that Twitch is actually owned by Amazon, so I wouldn't doubt such things existing. He's like phoning HQ. Hey, yeah, he's about to do the thing. Give it a boost of 20 viewers. Alright. Remove his affiliate link if he doesn't do the thing. Up. Oh, my eyes. Oh, I got caught in it. What? Oh my goodness. It's like I gotta shut off stream. Oh.
We will.
Hi, there's Lance. Thank you for the sub. Oh yeah, my eye, right? Ah, shit. Okay, wait. It's so bad. So bad. All right. I've teased you long enough, chat. So be it. You see, aside from the ever so expensive redeem, which is 100,000 channel points, there is one specifically not listed, which is the one that starts with an R. It's a dangerous thing to ask me to do that. Axiom should know. Often it would change the tone of my stream being wholesome to something else.
Say it or I swear I will flying jump kick you from Germany.
Oh my, threats of violence. Just so I spit it out of my mouth. No. I wouldn't so much as call it a whisper because I'm speaking in public. There's a bunch of viewers right now. But it does make me curious. I get messages asking me, hey, can you do exactly what you guys are asking me to do right now? And send it to me as an audio clip. It's like, why? Big question is why? Why do people want to hear me say the word? Because I promised. Oh, no. I never promised anything to these strangers. It's more fun when it's a rarity. Only reason I'm holding you to it is because you said you would when you hit the... That's true. That's true. Shrek wishes you to say the word. I call it a verbal agreement because you are a dragon. Dinosaur. I thought you were going to say you're a dragon and you uphold honor above everything else. That's true. I am a man of my word. He never hit the goal. Look at the blue bar. You know what? Actually, maybe onto something. Oh dear, oh my. Has Gab actually hit the goal? Don't say stuff like that. Look at that. Something. Sabotaging the thing. Well, alright, fine. Everybody's on the edge of their seat right now. They're just waiting. They're waiting. They're thinking, will Geb say it in passing, like mid-sentence so we wouldn't notice? Is there actually a big build-up before he actually does the word and everything? Is he just gonna close the stream into black as usual and say, go shoo, and then say it mid-black screen as a post-credit scene? I wonder what it could be. Yes, Mimi. I also find you bouncing around the bush. you want to hear it so he can go to bed. Blue wants to hear it so he can go shower. I wonder what other else reason chat wants to hear it so they can do whatever else. Do it and I'll give you a present. Oh, I almost fell for it mentally. Wonder what present though. Color me intrigued. So I can clip it for Howler. It's hard, not hard to say no to my biggest supporter. I just want to hear it because it would be funny. I'm just waiting to hear my boss and the code I'm trying to get. They're usually waiting around. Yes, says Nordex. I'm waiting before I go heat up leftovers. All right, so be. Fine. Without further ado, let's go change the music. Okay, where were we? So. Oh, that's smart. Play a copyrighted song so it gets muted as the phone. Minnie's just like, do it. Do it. This is extremely amusing for me, chat. I have you playing on the TV behind me every time you hint. I turn around on my chair. But no. Does Gem always bully Chan? Oh, please, me bully you? I'm probably the nicest guy around. How could I be bullying you? Such anticipation. Such suspense. Over something so small and simple. Please, very wise game. My phone's on 2% and I don't have a charger. Oh my, in the age of USB-C devices being available everywhere. You're mean. I find it funny to read everyone's reactions. I come back and all I get is bullying. A stretch. Looks like we're gonna stretch the delay a bit further according to Olympus. All right. I hydrate. Well, looks like I'm drinking water again. Tension Rising, just subscribe. Very apt name.
Oh, I wonder what chat wants to hear with Roar.
Okay, where were we? All right. You're like, oh, did Geb just say it? Does that count because it was reverberating to his water bottle? He did just say it. So technically, I am free, right? I can like skedaddly do. What do you mean? What do you mean? No. Nah, nada, nope, nah, no, bro, no. Are you gonna do Minnie dirty like that? Yet. I'm so thirsty, says Neko. You wanted that. Join the DCVC and do it. Minnie won't use the Fem Hydra for the hangout. No. All right, for that. Blue got me good. Blue got me good there. My goodness. Knows my weakness aside from chicken and lasagna. All right. I don't know. Maybe I need a little something to sweeten the deal. What else? I mean, presence of said thing is welcome. Yeah, thank you, Ninja. That's so strangely apt. Agreed. I won't use it if no R-A-W letter R. Minnie just agreed with me, says Blue. She won't if you won't. Well. Beating around the bush. Where do you find these people? What's going on with the subs? What? Oh my goodness. All right. What's that? I think this is it. No, there we go. Oh my, we're having lag, chat. Looks like I can't do the thing. Shoot, maybe 15 minutes and I can get this fixed. Alrighty. I see. Connection, this and that. Oh no, that's much worse than I thought. Hello, check. If I get an advertisement the second this happens, I'ma yell like a girl. Oh, it got worse. It's nothing but the black screen. How can chat see what I'm about to do? Along with me saying the letter R thing. Diskity disc. Connection, this and that. That's true. Avoiding responsibilities. Oh, well, thanks to Amazon's quick tech support, the connection has been reestablished. I will do what must be done in order to appease chat and to summon my people in attendance, because apparently my kind is a rarity. So how does that go? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, S, T, U, V, W, X, and Y, and Z. Yes. A cotton for. What, chat? What? Sadistic blue lizard. The master of edging. The master of edging. This is gold. This is so funny. Oh, no. None of that Satan nonsense, Blue. I don't. Look, listen, Beth has access to the entire repository of people who has an account on Twitch, Amazon. What do you expect? What was the analog to the program used to zip files? There's 7-zip and the ever so famous Win. I can't quite say it. It compresses things. Right click to X. Yes. Yes, that one. Precisely. Okay, Lay. That's dumb. That is. Alright. I'm flabbergasted. I'm not surprised anymore. Thank you for the subscription, Win. Power, probably think of Power Archiver. What? What does that even mean? Oh dear, did you lag and my audio not go through? Oh, you know how ISPs are and how fickle internet connections can be. Oh dear, oh well. What can we do, huh? Oh dear, oh my, what a shame. And I said it with feelings too. Maybe a little sprinkle of extra with the letter M word. This is psychological terror. The music was playing though. It's already been 40 minutes of edging. We should revolve. Revolve. 81 viewers. 81 viewers. 81 people in anticipation. Of what most many new watching may ask. But you sit around and find out. I'm stealing your lasagna. I will bite you instead. Into you. Because you bite into lasagna, so law of equivalent exchange. Yes. It can't possibly be as bad as the 100K one. Oh, trust me, it's worse. There's a reason it's not redeemable. I wonder. No more lasagna substance. Where, Beth? Where? What? I don't know. During the time you've been edging, says Blue, my phone has gone down 9%. Well, we gotta make the most of the stream. I might not show up on Wednesday, nor Friday. I could be gone 2, 3 streams, maybe a week, maybe more. Oh, how much time and energy this renovation of mine consumes. With so little left to offer to my dear viewers. I'm on 1%. Wallow Full Life. Wow, that's like a rapper's name. Wallow Full Life. Gifted subs. My goodness. Do it for Trax. So here is Trax on life support. Beep, beep. And then when I say, it's going to be beep. Yep. Sorry, Trax. Nothing I can do. Infintus, thank you for the biddies. You should say it in the middle of a sentence to catch people off guard, like what I did while drinking water. Oh, if you heard, you heard. Drax's final wish is to hear you. Yeah, I can't get up to drink water, please. Why you think you're gonna miss it? Go on, go drink your water. Go stand up, stretch. Focus on your task. No need to turn around and look at stream. I'm not changing angles or anything. Anywho, not me having a dynamic camera before the big thing, please. You're going to be on the ladder. I literally, physically can't close my eyes till you say it. Beth has given a sub to double letter R underscore in between. We're all suffering because of you. Me? What am I doing? I'm doing nothing. I'm just sitting down. My goodness. Beth is slowly filling up the second bar. Oh, is it now? Oh, it is, isn't it? I'll watch the anime. No, you wouldn't. No, so I had two threats. Minnie's not gonna show up in the Hydra and the press anime without me. Oh, that's like two kidney punch. One's a liver, one's a kidney punch. What is this blue boss? If it isn't the one who made the lasagna fight game. Yes. Making me fat. Anyway. Now it just got more difficult because my cat is awake, and if I do it, anything to lubricate the gears, I see. Tisk. The second bar is gonna fill up. Cat wants to buy. I'll show up in my first. Alright. I'm sure Litz has gone to drink some water now. Like, of course. It's like, Geb's not gonna do it anyway. Minnie's so absorbed into doing her avatar work. Drax has probably passed away by now, thanks to 1% of the battery remaining. I mean, yes, I'm gone. Yes, she's totally standing up and getting her water. See, Minnie, don't distract Minnie. Leave her back. Let her focus while I do the thing. I'm barely alive, please. There's so many subs. That's all I can say. I have no idea. Drax is on his deathbed. Please, just do the thing. Everything. Beth is just sending gifts to everybody. People are so desperate, so wanting, so needy, so thirsty, so desiring of a simple little sound that I'm supposed to make. I wonder why. Yet here they persist 40 minutes into my funny little delay. There's a gifted subswar going on. It's been 15 minutes now. Oh, please. Why? Is it because I'm a dragon champ and I'm obliged to do the thing? Do my little, where I open my mouth like this and start with the letter. Because I remember joking that you're gonna stall for 19. You're lucky, Gem, says Trax. With Trax passing away. Oh, dear Trax. May you rest in peace. Oh, you thought I was gonna say the R word, huh? Hello, Nafriti. You're so lucky House came in and gave me my phone charger. What do you know? How convenient of you to still be nice and alive. Oops. So, how do you want? Just a simple delivery? Kev is paid over. We can do all the generic, like, rar. Or do I whisper to you, like, rar? Or do I go more on top of you, like, rar? Like that. You have to help me decide how to do it in person to those that I owe it to. Oh no. How, I wonder how. That's for you to decide. It's like, oh wow. A fierce one. The second round. We feast all 3 for free. Yes, maybe 4 or 5. I know there are a bunch of people in chat that wants me to say it right next to their ear. Probably me being here, higher, as they would call it, on top. Wait, I should not press on this topic. Moving on. No comment. I was surprised we got 3. Could you repeat the options? Wow. If you missed it, you missed it. Oh, wow. Somebody really wants it. Well, thank you, Aloha. That's a funny number of bits. Ahem, says Axiom. ASMR, says Minnie. Sent new picture in your new picture. Well, I hope you are happy with my little delivery. It was but a small thing. Pardon about the delay of the words. I wonder what could have been possibly the reason as for me saying it so late. Oh, I like their anchor ones there. An hour delay. Oh, please, it's only been 40. You know what's funny? When I said the words, I imagined chat just being like mission control, Houston. And then when a transmission from the moon finally came in, like from Geb Armstrong, it's like they were like, yeah, yeah, and throwing the headsets in the air. Ooh. He did a run. I may have screen recorded it. Why? Why would you screen record it? It's nothing special. Houston, we have touchdown. Oh, what? You want me to do like... Please. I did not clip it, says Beth. Good. All the thirsty people out there, please, by all means, hydrate. Once in a lifetime moment there. I'm already making an edit of it. An edit? Very decently. It means I'm on par. Why, thank you so much, Wallow. From this angle, I do look a little bit Jurassic, don't I? It's as if I'm ready for a bite at any moment. Oh. Let's look at your messages. Because I can. Oh, it's probably something you have to ask Minnie as well. While she's working on avatars herself. Same species as me. She's more pure blood than I am. Again, I am nothing but a bastard, a mongrel. I'm hoping I can save up enough for the MEOW. Oh, chat. Did you want me to say that too? It's a little silly though, isn't it? Greetings to you. I exist. Well, Maybe I should delete the VOD of the stream, not upload it. I don't know. Who would want to watch a stream that was made up of nothing but delays? Too bad I already say that. You should have played Linkin Park. Actually, I sent it to you as a DM. What did you send as a DM? Let's see what's going on in my Discord. What's this? And it's Nafriti showing me their butt, but it's blurry. Okay. And that's a DM. And then we have Vesper. We're on our way to get her to the groomers. Good luck with the doggy. And who is in VC? We have Litz. We have Axa. I bet they're cussing me out in VC. Oh my god. Geb just won't do it. This bastard. Oh. Everybody's celebrating in general chat. So, how do you want it? All right. You know, without further ado, I think it is a good time for me to cap the stream here. All right. I have to unfortunately get back to work again. Wallow, thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate that. I see you trying to combat the also great Amazon Prime, which is Beth. I'm joking. But yeah, I appreciate it. No, really, I do. I hope you're entertained as much as I imagine you all were with my little funny game of say the word. Again, just say the R word. Gab, maybe say the M word. Gab, say the double A word. Take care, Gab, love. You're silly and chill, man. Of course, Infinito, see you around. Now, what's the double A word? Oh, so you're curious now, are ya? What could be the double A word? That's something I've said long ago. And highly requested too. I don't think it's really apt for me to say, but whatever makes you happy. There's a double A word. I know, a little odd coming from me, but they did request I say it in the same sultry manner I did the R word. See you, Neko Thunder. Go ahead. Nothing special's gonna happen on stream anymore. It was a very fun stream, right? Anywho, I'm delaying again. I'm sure all of you enjoyed your little whisper of a roar earlier. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. I want to leave you hanging, right? Now go do what you were supposed to do. Go quench that thirst. Now that you're satisfied. It means you get your water. That's what I meant. So yes. Until next time. I may or may not be here on Wednesday. Just keep your eyes peeled. Be on the Discord. I'm always there. And yeah, that's it. Am I gonna meet people today? I remember a certain somebody wanting to present a little show and tell. Let's see how that goes. And then a certain somebody who gave up trying to fix her full body. Oh my, oh dear. Such a tragedy too. Well, I guess I'll see you soon. That being said, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, or maybe next Wednesday. You be good, all right? And don't forget, wash your hands after, please. Oh, so silly over a simple rar.